Welcome, welcome, welcome. Tonight we have phenomenal women on the platforms of Breaking Barriers. Tonight we have Miss Marsha McCray, and we will be talking about the steps on how being raw with yourself through intentional living. And then after Miss Marsha McCray, we will have none other but Janelle Harris coming on to talk with me on the importance of cultivating relationships among women entrepreneurs. So, I would like to bring to my platform none other but the phenomenal Miss Marsha.
Hello, everyone. Thank you. Thank you, Chastity, for having me on your platform. I appreciate you so very much.
Hi, Marsha. I'm so glad and I'm honored that you basically accepted the invitation. Thank you so much for bringing out some time out of your busy schedule to come and greet my audience on this very awesome topic. So, well, let's get into the discussion at hand, the little girl talk at hand. Steps on being raw with yourself through intentional living. So, what I did, like I was talking to you earlier, is basically merging our two platforms together and having a girl conversation. You know, I'm all about raw, and what raw stands for is real amazing women. Basically impacting women, making sure that they feel impeccable and they're able to boss up, show up, and execute that S on your chest. And your platform is basically about living a life, intentional life. So my question is, how do we do that? How do we be raw as women and still live an intentional life?
To be intentional, it's one decision at a time. Being intentional is not a difficult act, but it is a intentional act. It's one decision. How do we become real amazing women? We have to just literally dissect ourselves. It's one decision at a time. What time do we wake up? What time do we go and exercise? Are we going to exercise? What are we going to eat? How much water are we going to consume? Are we going to pray? How much time are we going to spend in meditation? How are we going to address our husband and our children? It's one decision at a time. And it becomes habit before long. It's not really, once you start, it's kind of difficult. But as you practice, you make it perfect.
You know, I like that you made a word statement of a decision.
Yeah.
You have to basically make decisions in your life and basically be accountable for those decisions and
Yes.
follow them through. So I know that sometimes women, we make decisions or we have many things that we have to do in our life, in our daily life, and sometimes we fall short. And we feel kind of like we did not accomplish what we need to accomplish, even though we're trying to live an intentional life. So, my thing is, when you are making those decisions, you have to also choose activities that really matter to you. See, when you make decisions and while you're living intentionally, you have to also understand what activities, what things in your life truly matter, because it's important for you to try to live in your belief. But in order for that to be successful, you have to know what exactly matters to your life.
You're correct. And it can't be what someone else wants, what your friends want, parents want, spouse or boyfriend want. You have to really dig deep and determine what you want. And that's not as easy as it sounds. We have so many influences day to day, social media influences, relationship influences. We have people who morph into other people. So you really have to sit down and determine what you want, what makes you happy, what you like, what colors you like, what foods do you like. So we have a tendency to mimic our closest influencers or mimic those that are the closest to us. And that's good too if it's healthy. However, you really have to take time, and it is going to take time for you to determine who you are. Then you can determine what you're going to do and make decisions that way.
How does a woman, in your opinion, your perspective, work towards betterment in their life?
How does a woman work towards betterment?
Like basically the path of self-improvement, the path of personal growth.
It's about being honest with yourself.
That
You
goes
have to
back
be
that goes back to what I say about being raw with yourself. I'm sorry.
right. You have to be raw. You have to be honest with yourself. And the woman you see right now, me, is not who I was before.
Come
I had
forward.
to really take this is a testimonial. I'm not telling you what I read. I'm not telling you what I heard. I'm telling you what I've lived. And I had to really take time and just determine who am I and who did I want to be. I
Right.
have a part in my book, Living Intentionally Daily Devotional. It says, live your eulogy.
Mm.
And when you're living I wanted to know if something happened to me, for one, who would come? That answer was nobody. The second part was, what would it say? And it wouldn't say anything. I went to work and I went home and I had a couple of friends. I mean, that was the raw truth of my existence. And I began to put it to writing and I wanted to live my eulogy. So what do I want my eulogy to say? That I was a friend to many, that I was helpful and honest, that I loved many people, that I was a friend to the elderly and to the children, that I was a hard worker, a businesswoman, I was intentional. I provided great customer service. I was loving. I wanted to do that, but I had to determine who I wanted to be and make every single decision from that point on to be that person. I had to get raw.
Wow.
Yeah.
So yeah, so basically, one thing that I do in my life is, and I think I'm reading this book. It's an entrepreneur book, and it's opening my eyes on so many levels about who I am as an entrepreneur.
Mhm.
And one thing that the book is talking about is that when you're an entrepreneur or just a woman in general, you need to write things down. You
Yes.
have to, in order to have a vision, in order for it to work, you have to write it down. Do you know
Yeah.
how many journals I have? I
I have two
yeah,
on me right now.
wait a minute. I have one here.
Yeah.
And I have one over here, like three over in my desk, but I even have journals that I have referenced back
I
to.
have one for 2022 already.
Go
I have
ahead,
one
girl.
for plans already. I have journal. I write it down.
You
I write
have to
down the
write it
scripture.
down. You have to write your request because you have not because you ask not. And
Yes.
I have journals back from 1996 of things that
Mhm.
I said. This is the funny thing about this. I wrote down when I was 16 years old that I was going to get married at 36 and have a baby at 38. Guess when I had my
Wow.
guess when I got married? I got married at 36 and I had a baby at 38.
Wow.
I said I wrote that down in my journal. That's
Wow.
how much you don't even realize you're living a life of intention at an early age. And
Yes.
how it's coming to fruition. So, but one thing I also have learned about living a life of intent is learning how to enjoy the moment. I think so many of us worry about what has happened in the past or what is
Mhm.
going to happen in the future. And we forget that we are alive right here, right now, to do what God wants us to do and live in the moment. Be mindful and be
Yes.
mindful of the present moment, and it helps you increase your own self-awareness. I
True
mean,
story.
go ahead. It builds you to have stronger relationships with others,
Yes.
and it decreases stress and worry. And people don't realize that. And sometimes I have to check myself and have a reality check and say with people, because sometimes people are not going to be honest and transparent and sit and say, we need to get delivered over people sometimes. Sometimes people hinder us indirectly
Mhm.
and we're not even realizing they're hindering us. So
Wow.
once you learn how to get delivered over people and things, you can really start to live in the present moment. And once you really live in the present moment, Marsha, it becomes so much of freedom.
Yes. It's freeing. It's a relief. It
Yeah.
truly is. I have this saying that choose your battles. In life, we don't have the luxury all the time to choose our battles. Life hits us. Sometimes it hits us hard. And we don't have a choice in that. So we have to deal with it. And then there's some battles you could just choose to ignore. There's some of them. I was with a family member last weekend, my uncle, and my dad was with my dad, and my dad was sharing some concerns. And I said, "Oh, this it's not a battle I choose to fight." And my uncle's like, at the end of the trip, he was like, "Marsha, you taught me something very valuable about choosing your battles." And I'm like, "Yeah, what you can take care of, and what you can't, you just can't." And then once you determine that, it's done. It's
Girl,
done. Save your energy for the battles that you have to fight that you don't have a choice for.
I see Miss Janelle Harris is in the audience. She's coming up next after Miss Marsha. How you doing, Miss Janelle? Thank you for tuning in and listening to this phenomenal woman as well. But to give to what you're saying, choosing your battles. Girl, I've had to learn that in the last 2.5 years. I don't get mad if people don't talk to me or if people want to have an argument and I'm not really wanting to participate in that argument. I look at them and say, well, we're going to agree to disagree. I respect your opinion. That is your perspective. That's your reality. And I'm going to move on. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I choose not to be in the presence of others. And
Right.
what I have learned, I use that now for professional as well as personal. And I also use it for my close friends and my family. I can tell you, I have an aunt. I love her, but I choose not to be engrossed in her life because it does not do me any well. It does not bring the best out of me. It doesn't mean that I don't love her. And when people, this is the funny about things about when you choose your battles, especially with people in your close circle. Oh, you don't have compassion. Oh, you're not sympathetic. Or you need to, what would Jesus do? And I
Yeah.
I get all that, but if this person is not edifying me, why am I attaching myself to them?
And
How
do
is
it
that?
without guilt. You don't have to feel guilty about removing yourself from unhealthy situation. It's a form of mental health and self-care. You cannot, and a form of self-abuse if you stay in it. You have to remove yourself willingly from bad situations, whether it's a bad vibe, bad chemistry, bad words, bad attitude, whatever you're not feeling. It's okay to remove yourself from it because the most important person you know is you. It is not your baby. It's not your mom and them. It's not your husband. The most important person you know, other than sweet Jesus, is you. Because in order for you to be a great person, a great mom, wife, businesswoman, entrepreneur, you have to be together. You have to be whole and you have to be well. Mentally, spiritually, however, you have to be well, and you can't be well in such toxic atmospheres.
You said something I want you to elaborate if you can. Self-abuse.
Yeah.
I never think about self-abuse. I think other people inflicting abuse on other people. What does that look like?
It looks like the end result of that is being drained and exhausted. It's being angry at the world. It's being angry at yourself. It looks like extreme fatigue. It looks like brokenness. It looks like depression in certain instances. You really have to be in tune with yourself. That's about being raw. You have to know who you are, what you want to be, what you like and what you don't like. Once you get to the raw of you, once you're able to identify what you want, you know what you don't want. And anything that aligns with what you don't want or that is toxic, you must preserve yourself and get out of its way. No one willingly walks into a war. And when you're in toxic atmospheres, that's kind of like a war because even long after you leave that toxic situation, it's going to stay in your head. You're going to hear the conversations. You're going to spirits transfer. I'm adamant about spirits transfer. And when I'm in and I see places of, hey, this isn't good. This is not good. Let me remove myself because that's the only control I have over the situation. Me removing me. I can't remove them. So me choosing my battle is removing myself from that atmosphere. Now there's certain things that you just cannot. Let's say you're in a working environment and it's toxic. You're going to then have to find other ways to center yourself and have inner peace. But if you have control over the situation, by all means, you have to take care of yourself. You have to know exactly what you don't want. You have to get raw.
You have to get raw. And when
You
you're
have to,
getting raw, you have to learn how to strive or work towards a balance. And I've been reading a lot of things on people perspective of balance.
mm-hmm.
And some people are saying you will never have balance. Stop trying to achieve a useless goal. You will never have work-life balance. There's not concept or theory behind it. I disagree because I believe work-life balance is something you can have day to day and it can change.
Yes.
You have to realize what is important for that day, your task at hand, and accomplishing that. And that is the true balance of maintaining an overall wellness for your personal life and your professional life. Because if you
Exactly.
don't have balance, then you can be overwhelmed and you can
Mhm.
put internal stress on you, and then you become snappy, and then you become this witch and people don't want to be around, and you really don't know why you're upset because you're not balancing it. But I think people are saying, oh, you have to balance it, and it has to be 50-50. I don't think it has to be 50-50. I think it's based on that day, what is priority and what is not priority, and you balance your day based on those attributes in your life, so you can work towards maintaining balance and overall wellness in your life, and essentially living the life that you want to live, intentionally living the life you want to live.
I do agree. It's all about priorities, and you said the word. I often tell my clients to write a list of the goals and accomplishments you want to have done on on Sunday. On Sunday, have a list. I don't care if it's 1 to 50. Have a list of everything. For one, each day you have a plan. Each day you know what you have accomplished and what you need to get done. And as you finish, you just scratch off the list. Sometimes you're able to, there's no idle time then. You're not just sitting down and just flipping through social media or just watching Law and Order episodes. You know you have something to do. And at the end of that week, you know that you've accomplished several things. It also allows you to know if you need to get up early or not, or if you need to stay up a little bit later. But there is a way to have some type of a balance, but you must set your priorities.
Priorities,
Yes.
accountability. Oh, what
Yes.
does that look like? Some people are very scared of priorities and
Uh-huh.
accountability.
And
Um,
they're regretful and they're angry at the world because they've not accomplished any goals. That has a look.
And then they become envious and jealous of people who basically say, hey, I have my list, I'm making myself accountable, and I'm basically striving to be the best me. I am living my life intentionally the way I need to live my life.
Correct.
And then you have all, which is going to spill, this is funny, that's going to spill into our next topic with Miss Janelle Harris on how cultivating relationships with women in entrepreneurship within the entrepreneurship arena. So overall, it's all about how do you make a difference, helpful actions towards yourself as well as to others, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
So making that difference in your life, being able to be beneficial and being able to edify others is the key thing of living your life living your life intentionally and being raw, making sure that you see yourself and you can look at yourself in the mirror and say at the end of the day, all is well with Chastity. All is
Yeah.
well with Marsha. I have done everything and I am very happy. And when you start to reap the fruits of your labor that God has given you, you're right. And I'll say this right now, and I'm not trying to toot my horn. I might not be up here on an Oprah Winfrey level, but I sure ain't down here in the boondocks. And where God has me right now is where I need to be. And I can tell you something really very awesome is that I ain't putting my head down because I work very hard to be where I'm at. I work very hard to basically say, God has me, and I am going to enjoy the fruits of my labor. And I
Wow.
think we should be okay with not being cocky, but being confident in what God has blessed us in.
I do agree. I totally agree. I don't toot my own horn. I let my work speak for itself. It is amazing to see my clients grow and mature professionally. My specialty is couch to purpose. And I get that client who is nervous, scared, intimidated, really don't think that they can do anything and feel stuck. And my overall goal is by the end of the time that they're working with me, that they understand their purpose, they're well on their way, and they're making money because we got to monetize from it all. So I do understand that, and I do encourage them all to set their priorities, know what they want to do, and to live their eulogy.
Awesome. Well, the next thing I want to talk to you about, and I want you to talk to my audience about. There's something I like your Instagram. I follow you on mostly all your platforms.
Yeah.
And you have something that really caught my eye is understanding what a mentor is, a coach is, and a consultant. I mean, a lot of stuff catches my eyes with you, but that like transcend with me. I was like, you know what? A lot of people don't understand that at all.
They truly don't. They truly don't. And that came about because I always want to make sure I deliver what they are paying me for. And I get some phone calls or emails, and it's like, hey, I want you to be my life coach. And once I'm talking to them, like, you really need a consultant. You don't, your life is together. You really need a consultant, just a little bit more guidance and some references. I meet some people who want me as a mentor, but they really need a therapist. I should have added therapists to that list as well. Because I don't want them angry with me thinking that as a coach, I am supposed to be their web developer. Right. Or as a coach, I help you make your decisions. I help you and I train you to make the best decisions for your life. That's my job. My job is to understand what you want and help you find the answers. Because if I tell you the answers, you're not going to respect it.
Right.
And some people want a mentor when they really need a coach. So I wanted them to, that actually was kind of out of a frustration in a sense, because I want them to know, hey, I can deliver on each platform, but which one do you need me for?
And educate yourself to understand. Yes. When you come to me, this is what I'm going to give you.
Right. And none of it means I'm doing your logo for you. And none of it means I'm building your website. And none of it means that, So I think people have to really take accountability for what they need to do. They need to understand that there's work to be done. And one thing I've noticed a trend of for some, not all, they don't want to put in the work. Now, I have some other clients that go in that are coachable, that are really on top of it. And wow, I mean, to God be the glory. I'm just in awe of these, and I brag about these clients often. But the ones, there's a couple, and it's only a couple, that really don't understand that concept, which explains why they're always stuck, which explains why they can't complete a task. Because they may very well want someone to do it for them.
Well, and we're going to also talk about, I'll tell you this, Marsha is part of my life, and she is my fashion consultant. You know, when I need tips on what I need to put together for whatever, I'm coming to Miss Marsha. She's gonna tell me what I need. My husband even have her in his speed dial. He's bought a couple of outfits for me.
Yes, he has. I
So
brag about your husband all the time. I'm like, that is like the best compliment. When the husband is like, bring the clothes, I'm like, wow. So yes, that is a great compliment. Thank you.
So she's hey, does this match? Okay, this is the color I need, or she'll say no, this is what we're gonna do, and I'm good with that because that she's helping me build my brand and I understand what I'm using her for. I don't call her to basically do my website or fix up.
Right. Right. You know, and I really value those who really take the initiative and that are intentional about their look. Because we live in a very shallow society, unfortunately. Our society that we live in is just that, it's shallow. And I don't want you to miss out or anyone to miss out on any great opportunity because you just don't have the look. And the look is not difficult to get. The look is not even expensive to have. It's just having some staple pieces, having pieces that complement your complexion, and even as having the right undergarments underneath. So that's what I'm here for, as far as a stylist and a consultant with your brand, because there's someone with less talent getting better opportunities just because of a look.
Right.
Which is unfortunate. I mean, I'm not saying that it's right, but I am saying that's the reality that we live in.
That's true.
That's the reality. We see people who cannot form a good sentence, who's on every single platform. We're like, how did that happen?
Like, oh my God.
Right. So if anyone that I'm able to assist, that is just my overall goal for their intelligence to shine and them given every opportunity and be welcome into any door and to be able to sit at every table so their intelligence and creativity can shine.
Awesome. Marsha, you have a platform and we want to talk about your platform before we finish our segment tonight. I want you to tell the audience about your business, also tell them about your devotional and where they can basically contact you. And at the end of every segment, after you do that, I want you to give the audience a raw nugget that they can take away about our topic.
Yes. Well, to contact me, I'm on both Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and probably something else. But I am Living Intentionally Daily Devotional on Facebook, and I'm Living Intentionally Devotional on Instagram. My book is Living Intentionally Daily Devotional, The Purposeful Seasons of Your Life. And this book is broken into seasons. I do believe that our emotions are seasonal. You may wake up with a happiness and excitement of a summer. You may experience the disappointment of an autumn where things just need to be let go, fall off. You've been betrayed. You've seen some true colors. You may experience a cold frigidness of winter emotionally. And you will need to renew, rejuvenate, and refresh yourself like a spring. So the book is broken into seasons, and you can order that at McCray.com. McCray.com. I'm also a stylist, and I'm in the office showroom right now of Blue Label Boutique, and Blue Label is spelled BLU. Blue Label is the only label that you want to wear, and it's for the professional woman with classic style. If you need to contact me at any platform, you can contact me at livingintentionallycoach@gmail.com. Regarding the book and guest appearances for book clubs, livingintentionallybook@gmail.com. Thank you so much, Chastity.
Awesome. And give me one nugget that my audience can take away with.
When you find yourself in an emotional winter, a very cold, frigid, gloomy, overcast state emotionally, that's a dangerous place. Always find your way back to spring to refresh, renew, and to rejuvenate yourself.
Phenomenal. Well, my raw warriors, We're about to go on a commercial break, and next up will be none other but Miss Janelle Harris, bringing forth a good conversation as well. I want to thank Marcia for coming on my platform and giving your truth, your testimony, your wisdom, and your knowledge to my audience. I appreciate you, and I love you from the dearest of my soul. Thank you.
I love you too. Thank you so much, Chastity. Shalom.
Shalom. Welcome back to the second part of Breaking Barriers. The next guest that we will have on the air will be none other but Miss Janelle Harris. She is coming to talk with me, Chastity Sonier, on the importance of cultivating relationships amongst women entrepreneurs. So please give a good welcome to Miss Janelle. Hello.
Oh my goodness. How are you? I'm backstage enjoying the show in the show. Hey, Chastity, how you doing?
I am well. I'm well. You know, I'm glad to see your face versus our texts, our phone calls. It's so glad to see your face and literally talking to you versus on the phone.
Absolutely. You are so beautiful. Your spirit. I'm like backstage. I'm like, wow. You like, just flow, that positive flow.
Thank you. Thank you. You are awesome and a true woman in your own right yourself.
Thank you.
This is a topic that we've been really discussing through text and phone, and now we're on the air of Breaking Barriers. So, what is the importance, or how do we as women cultivate those relationships in the entrepreneur sector?
I love it. I love it. Other than the amazing Marsha, I loved the fact of being intentional, but staying consistent. We have to be consistent, especially in the world we're living in. A lot of people went through a lot of failures, betrayals. And if you are a true woman or a true woman to serve or a true empowerment speaker, that you believe in the cause of sisterhood, you have to stay consistent. And, not that you're proving yourself to anybody, but prove yourself to you,
Right. Another thing about cultivating relationships, and I think sometimes we lose it, is it's all about building new relationships by diversifying your network. I think sometimes entrepreneur women,
Yes,
and maybe entrepreneur Black women, I'm going to say that we miss out on opportunities because we stay in one box. We don't allow ourselves to diversify our network. Like my goal for my company 10 years from now, 10 years from now, is not to be just known in the United States of America.
That's right.
I want to be known globally. I want to be a global household. And
Yeah.
in order for me to do that as a strong Black entrepreneur woman, I have to build new relationships that's going to cultivate me to the next level, which means diversifying my book. And that also means you have to step out of your comfort zone. And I think that's a struggle with entrepreneurial women. We are scared to step out on our comfort zone. We think, oh, we just started this business. That's the only step. No, it's a risk daily, and you have to jump out on faith.
Woo! Yes, you
That's
preach.
a mouthful.
You preach it. Absolutely. I agree. I think some women, because we can't say every woman, but I think fear has a lot to do with why people don't step out their comfort zone, and failures, and that's why it's always important to do trial and error. It's always important to learn. I love to learn from my peers. I learn from you, and I'm always taking notes. So I'm backstage and I'm like, wow, you just have a different swag about yourself. I love how the whole ambient, but guess what? Because when I'm on this stage and I see your makeup, if that makes sense. So from the phone call through the text to the whole ambiance, it's your entire makeup, right? And I say that because what you're telling me without saying, and this is the demonstration, you spent a lot of time with yourself, and it shows. It shows. So you're delivering your true you.
Right. And as entrepreneurial women, we have to learn how to develop our true you.
Yeah.
And that comes with failures. And trust me, where I'm at today is not where I'm going to be in the future, but where I am today, I wasn't. Don't get me wrong. I've always had confidence. I've always been
right.
But I have not been as polished in my makeup.
Woo! You better preach, lady. Preach.
And what I learned, and because one thing I do know, as leaders, you have to have mentors. As leaders, you have to follow. You cannot be a successful, I don't care if you're a corporate woman or you're an entrepreneur woman. You cannot be successful without mentors. But you have to be willing to realize, okay, I asked this person to be my mentor and I'm going to follow them. And you realize that person is not edifying you. Don't stick with that same mentor.
Absolutely.
If that mentor is stagnant and not growing to the next level, you need to check out and find you another mentor.
Absolutely.
You need to be very intentional. I love them. We're using Marshall words. Intentional. With your life. And you cannot get upset or worry about this other person's feelings if you detach yourself away from them, because if they dead, you're going to be dead.
That's good stuff. Ooh, you better talk.
Right. And that's not living the way Marsha says, intentional. It's not.
Right. Wow.
So, and so tell me something about your experience in the era of relationships and cultivating with women in the entrepreneur sector.
So one of the things, I love to collaborate. I love to serve, right? I love to invest in womanhood, in dreams. I want to see your reality becomes your reality, if that makes sense. And one of the things that I've learned over the years, my vision's so big, and sometimes it may offend or it may intimidate, and not in a bad way, but it's like, why do you want this more than me, you know? And I want you to be overwhelmed, because overwhelm is a good thing, you know? I am a workaholic, but the vision is so crazy, and you know what it takes as a marketer, as a brander, you know what it takes to build, because I don't want to just build small things, right? I want to build big things. I want to build a legacy. I want to leave a legacy, but I also want to leave those magical moments within another person, you know? So one of the things that I do is jump on anybody's project and add, you know, be an asset, you know, because I'm an asset to myself. So I want to become an asset to somebody else, never a liability, because I know what it takes. What it takes, a team. It takes sisters like you and I to create and to make things happen. But I often see sometimes it can be an offense to people, because it's their dreams or their gift, or they feel like you're taking something from them. And you know, you have to be really vulnerable in order to understand your worth, if that makes sense. You know, you have to really be so comfortable with yourself to know that, you know, this world is so big, and collaborations and networking, it's not going to take away from you. You know, I want to use this word, the scripture, your gifts will make room for you. And I don't think that people really understand that. So I always had this mindset, right? I want to do so many things, and I want to build and leave this legacy, right? But I don't want to go to someone to say, hey, believe in me, right? I want my product and my brand to speak for itself. So I believe in me, right? And I'm doing me, and I'm doing me, and I'm doing me, and I do others as well. But the main goal is, in order for me to help someone, I got to help me first, right? Because oftentimes you'll go to an investor or a sponsor, and it's like, what is your mission, or what have you done? And I want to build my own portfolio, my own resume. And I want to sow into me so others can sow into me. I want to sow into other people, or I want to sow into other businesses, because I know the body of what it takes to build a business. It's like you have to walk it out on your own.
Walk it out.
In order for others to follow, you know, or in order for somebody else to say, hey, what are you doing there? You know, and, you know, I know a lot of time people are like, you're doing too much. I need to do too much. I want to do too much, because my vision is endless, you know, and I know what it takes to get there. So in order to get there, I got to do too much, and I'm doing it on my platform, you know. So
you're answering the question, because I was going to ask you to break down overwhelm. When you said overwhelm was a positive thing, because most people take the word overwhelm in a negative content.
Yes.
And so I was going to say break, but you breaking it down. Keep breaking it down.
Yeah,
break
absolutely. Absolutely. So now I have my hands in a lot of different things, but I also know to give myself deadlines, because I heard Marsha talk about priorities and, you know, and intentional. So I'm intentional with my projects, right? So like we're here, and I knew we had to make it happen, and I was intentional with my day today. You know, so I got up an hour earlier, you know, I did things earlier, you know, my daughter hit me with a long one. I made sure to have, you know, I'm intentional with what we have to do. But not only that, me showing up, I'm showing up for you, you're showing up for me, but we're manifesting what we want to see happen on this platform. So when I plug in and I have She Exists, and I want to share She Exists, because I know the groundwork that I did intentional groundwork, you know, and I know that it's like, you know, it's good grounds. You know, because I was intentional with my good grounds. I was intentional with my serving, you know. So I do things with the mindset of, you know, like for instance, right? I'm in my office where I do my mentoring, right? Now I'm done. I took a break, but I went back on my board. Now the board was empty. Now I wrote because I wanted to make sure that I'm intentional in the atmosphere, because it's all about manifesting, sowing seeds. A lot of times people think you're sowing seeds, everything has to do with money. We're sowing seeds here. We're dropping jewels. We're dropping testimonies. We're dropping experience. And then when somebody watches this, and if they're intentional with what they're looking at, then they will receive. So goes back to, we can say, come on aboard. But if you don't see the vision, and if your mindset is not developed to pick up the jewels, you're not going to get it.
I totally agree. Girl, that was a mouthful, but it was it was a bunch of jewels, diamond, ruby, sapphire. I was like, catch it. If you're listening to it after the live, hey, you better catch all these jewels, diamonds, rubies that these ladies are putting out on this platform. But another thing I was thinking is, when you're building and cultivating relationships in your profession, you have to give as much as you expect to get from every relationship.
Wow.
And what I mean by that, my experience is, people think because I'm here, you can't learn from another individual. Or because I'm older than her, she should go about doing it this way. And if she doesn't, she's not going to be successful. No, it's not a one-way, half-hearted effort. And when you find out a person, especially concerning your brand, is half-hearted with your baby, you need to let that person go.
Yeah.
All the time. Be intentional. From every relationship, give as much as you want to give back. If that person cut it off because they're not feeling the love, or you're not doing the work, sometimes instead of bashing that person, look yourself in the mirror and see how you can fix yourself to get to that level where she or he is.
No, I'm taking it in. I'm saying.
And then last is like, so I tell people, well, I tell myself this too. So when I'm telling people, I also have to tell myself this too. I have to affirm myself on a daily basis. Yeah. You have to be selectively conscious of how you spend quality time on different relationships.
Yes.
You need to learn what are your key relationships. And you put your energy in those key relationships.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, because you are my auntie doesn't mean that I'm going to give you all my valuable time.
Yeah.
Because I am now living in a life of being intentional. I am in the pursuit of something.
Yeah.
And my time is so valuable. My time is money. My time. I am learning this. And it's a growth. And you could tell when you get in this entrepreneur sector who's about show and who's about their business. Because Marsha and I was saying something, people can tell you, like spirits can tell, like spirits transfer.
Yeah.
know, and that's a faith thing. That's a whole nother conversation.
Right.
That we can really go hard on. We're not gonna do that right now. But I'm sorry, our spirit has to connect.
That's right. Wow. But I want to piggyback on that because you said a mouthful. And as we get older and as we want to change our mindset, because some people may not want to change their mindset, or some people may not understand how to change that mindset because it's a discipline. So it's like your faith has to meet your heart. Your heart has to meet your faith. and those two have to be hand in hand together in marriage, okay? Because you want more, not that you need more, you want more. It's like your cup runneth over. I know I'm so mindful because you and I could get the preaching, and I don't want to get on that part, but here's the thing. Leveling up your mindset equals to show me your company, I tell you who you are, right? And remember, Granny, old mama used to tell us that, and we didn't understand that. And I feel when we're younger, we're going through the pitfalls of life, and we're attracting at that level. But when you get to that mindset of you don't want to be hurt anymore, or you don't, you're not thinking on a low level, and I'm not to disrespect anybody and call them on a low level, but where is their mindset? Right? So it's now the quality of people, which would be internally the qualities of you that you have inside, because now that's where you're going to attract,
Right.
It's just like your income, your income goes up, then you might start eating at a different restaurant, or you might have a difference in your brand, your hair brand. And I'm just saying, or you get a raise or an increase. You see how some people want to refinance, as the level of where you are in that season, you change your mindset.
Awesome. And I'm going to drop another nugget that we can talk about, that we talked about in a way. I think women, entrepreneur women, have to learn how to execute and apply their time, their brand,
Yes.
and resources to key social issues.
Yes.
That means basically building a strong relationship with people who share the same beliefs, interests, and ambition.
Yeah.
That means collaborating with others to help you solve or share or solve problems that turn into engaging advocates of your business.
Yeah.
Once you start connecting and being collaboratory with other people and bouncing ideas off of them and talking to them, next thing you know, y'all are starting to build things and strategize. And when they elevate, they know that Chastity thinks things through, and hey, this is going on. Let me bring Chastity on this platform, because they understand the time, your brand, and resources. So you get to be elevated when you surround yourself with people that share the same vision.
Wow.
Because when I elevate, there's going to be doors open for me. That means people are going to ask me about other people.
Correct.
And if I am understanding my brand and my resources,
right.
and I'm talking to effective and strong women, don't link up with everybody. It is okay to let those dead leaves fall.
That's right.
Let them fall, because when you get there, they're looking at you. If they're bringing you on their platform and they start talking to you, and you are basically recommending somebody, you want to recommend somebody that is of value.
Absolutely.
That that's going to present themselves well, no matter what, because now they are a representation of you.
Absolutely. Wow, that's good stuff.
Good stuff. So before we close, I'm going to give you an opportunity to talk about your business, your organizations, what's coming up with you, etc. And at the end, I would love for you to give a nugget to our women, the audience, on basically continuing to cultivate, elevating, executing healthy, successful relationships with women that are entrepreneurs.
Wow. Well, I'm Janelle, for those who don't know me, the founder of She Exists. People say, what is She Exists? And you know what I really want to say, which I'm going to say, She Exists. I exist and you exist. But I advocate for small businesses and organizations. And with that being said, I want to see everybody win. Now that I'm not here to save the world, but what I am here to do is to be an example of a positive leader. I believe in leadership. I believe in networking. I believe in collaboration. So I put things together. I'm a brand strategist. I'm a brander, a marketer. I'm a hell of a marketer, and I make things happen. So when you connect with She Exists, you'll meet so many other great women behind the brand, that's in the brand, the community, and I'm not afraid to share my resources because I am confident within myself. I'm confident of the foundation that I'm laying down.
Well, she has stopped right now. Lag. Well, I'm going to wait and see if she comes back and be active on the back house. Well, until then, I want to tell you thank you. Thank you for tuning in to Breaking Barriers, listening to these phenomenal women. I will give you a key nugget, and I'm going to stay on the track of building relationships. Make sure that you build relationships that shares the same values, belief systems, and ambitions that you have. Allow it to grow. And if those ambitions and those belief systems don't mount up to you, cut them off because they're dead weight. She has popped back in, so I'm going to put her back up.
Yes.
There you go. Okay.
Sorry, technical difficulties. Yes.
That's all right, but you got it to work.
Absolutely. So yeah, so that's pretty much what I do. And a raw nugget, invest in yourself. Trust yourself. Trust the rawness in yourself. In order for anybody to believe in you, you first have to believe in yourself. And I am telling you, you have a vision, take every drop of dime and sow it into yourself and have faith, and everything else will follow.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you, Janelle, for coming on to the show.
For having me.
Your truth and your perspective on this topic. I can't wait to basically do more with you in the near
Absolutely.
future. It's
Absolutely.
coming down the pipeline. So if you would stay backstage for a moment, I would really love that. But next, I want to thank my Facebook family for basically tuning in to Breaking Barriers and listening to these phenomenal women. Marsha came with some truth and a dynamic power of how we should live intentionally in our lives. My sister Janelle came in and provided ways that we can cultivate relationships amongst women entrepreneurs. I hope you receive something. I hope you receive the jewels, the diamonds, the rubies, the sapphires, the emeralds that these ladies put forth on the platform today. So please connect with me, Chastity Sonier, The Raw Hidden Process, on Facebook at Chastity Sonier Raw Talk, Instagram at The Raw Hidden Process, on LinkedIn, Chastity Sonier, The Raw Hidden Process. You also can subscribe via my website for empowerment affirmations and hot topics and updates at www.chastitysonier.com. I look forward to you being in the house for the next Breaking Barriers. Please tune in to any one of my social media to see who and what I will have coming up next. I really am blessed and honored, and I am glad to have you being in my village. Continue to be real, amazing warriors and continue to stand in your truth. Always love.